If what I'm about to show you guys in this video is legit, then holy hell am I hyped right now. Also, before we get into the video, apologies in advance if it's a little bit unedited. I only just heard about this and really wanted to get you guys the info as soon as possible. So my bad if the visuals are a bit boring at times. Anyways, just yesterday, 88 different Pokemon designs were leaked on the internet, and supposedly these designs are for Sun and Moon and were leaked by an actual employee from Game Freak. Now, obviously this isn't confirmed information, because if it were, then I would be way more excited, but I do think it's possible that what we're seeing is legit. The reason I say this is threefold. One, all of the Pokemon fit the theme of Sun and Moon very well. Two, they're all very rough sketches, but a good amount of thought seems to have been put into their design and their concept. And three, number 768 on this list, a Pokemon called Pickup, appears to be the new Pokemon teased in the trailer for Sun and Moon, so it seems as though the list you see here is consistent with a trailer screenshot. Even still, there are a couple of rather sketchy details, so I personally put the chance of this actually being legit at around 30 to 40%. Which, if you think about it, this is actually reasonably high. If I had to choose, I would say this probably isn't legit in all honesty, but I really wouldn't be surprised either way. Since if it is a hoax, then it's a pretty elaborate one. Alright, well let's go ahead and start talking about a few of these here, since there are quite a few that stand out to me. First of all, numbers 722 through 730 are the potential starters for Sun and Moon, and let me just say that first off, I am really upset at yet another fire fighting starter. But that aside, I actually like them quite a bit. The reason being that if you look at their types, the secondary typings of the final stages of each evolution offset their respective weaknesses. In other words, grass is weak to fire, fire to water, and of course water to grass, but psychic is strong against fighting, fighting is strong against dark, and dark is strong against psychic. This offset is something we've actually been asking for in Pokemon games for a very long time, and if this list is indeed legit, then it's nice to see that we finally got it. Also, let me just say that Carchoros looks like a freaking monster. The next thing I want to point out is that there are an insane number of dark, ghost, and fairy types, as well as a good number of dragon and fire types, especially later down on the list. Which actually makes a lot of sense given that the games are called Sun and Moon. In fact, in general, none of the typings on here are boring, they're all pretty unique, which is great to see. One specific Pokemon I want to point out is number 735, Sinetrimo. This thing's design looks both really weird and really cool at the same time, and I'm predicting it's going to have really high attack as well as excellent speed. The dark flying type also reminds me very much of Honchkrow. Another interesting Pokemon is number 749, Lombronix, since it's got the fairy ground typing, which isn't one that we've seen as of yet. Also, I initially thought that Lombronix evolved into number 750, Liafair, or however the hell you pronounce that, but I'm not so sure anymore. I personally sort of hope that they are separate and not part of the same evolution chain, since I want Lombronix to retain its fairy ground typing. Moving on, we've got some rather interesting baby Pokemon in Ziguni, which is a supposed pre-evolution of Zangoose, Sevipup, which is another supposed pre-evolution of Seviper, and Druddible, which is a pre-evolution of Druddigon. Now, don't get me wrong, these do look very cool and all, but in all honesty, Sevipup makes me somewhat doubt that the list you see is real, since it seems a little bit sketch, if you guys know what I mean. Next up, we've got an absolutely insane evolution line in number 770 Night Mini, number 771 Sinespectre, and number 772 Escola Frogon. And holy crap, do these things look creepy. I am definitely gonna love using these things if this list turns out to be legit. I'm also predicting Escola Frogon to have very high attacking stats, but as for its other stats, I really can't say I have any idea as of yet. Along the same lines, numbers 773 and 774 are also insanely cool in the dark type Zwitros and the dark and steel type Atrostox, which is an excellent typing offensively these days, as is evident in Bisharp. Also, this line might just be my personal favorite on the entire list. Another really interesting one is Leviagon, which seems to be a single stage Pokemon. It might actually be a legendary, but to be honest I sort of doubt it, just seeing where it's placed in the Sun and Moon Pokedex. The Water Dragon typing on this thing is going to be really good, even if fairies are running around these days to nerf it. Oh, and one of the most interesting ones on this list is Mad Ratter number 802, which is a normal fairy type and evidently based off of Alice in Wonderland, along with a couple of other Pokemon on this list. Which is rather interesting, and I'm not sure if I feel like it makes this list more or less legitimate. Finally, I realize I've skipped a few cool ones on here, but I want to jump to numbers 807 and 808 since I have a feeling that these two are the legendary Pokemon for Sun and Moon. The reason I say this is that one is a dark type, which is definitely consistent with Pokemon Moon, and the other is a fire type, which seems to be consistent with Pokemon Sun. Moreover, they also have the Psychic typing, which in the past has been associated with celestial and space Pokemon like Lunatone, Solrock, Deoxys, Jirachi, etc. Now, even though it's a bit hard to see in this picture, I must say that I'm rather disappointed with both the typings and the designs of these new Pokemon. Mostly because I was thinking they would introduce a new type in these games, and I also expected at least one of them to have the Fairy type, but that doesn't seem to be the case here. At the same time though, we're only seeing a sketch of their designs, so it's very possible my opinion on this will change. Well, alright folks, that is pretty much gonna do it for this video. As always, if you enjoyed, be sure to drop me a like down below and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already for more Pokemon videos in the future. And before ending things off, let me just say I realized I did skip over a couple of very interesting ones, and for that I'm really sorry, but I would rather not analyze every single Pokemon in depth until we have confirmation that this is indeed legit. That is, if we even get confirmation, since I have my doubts we actually will. So in light of all this, what I want you guys to do is let me know your thoughts on the seeming list of leaked Pokemon down below in the comments. Do you think it's legit, or are you leaning towards it being a hoax like I am? Also, what do you think of their concepts and designs? Be sure to let me know that as well. Otherwise, I hope you all enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see you in my next video.